Well, hello there, my fellow rushers. How you doing today? King Rexy here, and today we're gonna be talking about something a little bit more special. Since, as you may have known, the trailer for Kingdom Rush Alliance has been delayed by quite a bit, but I believe it will be released very soon. So before it, I wanted to make this short video where I just talk about something that always bothered me after the Hammerhold DLC was released. As you may have noticed, if you zoom in on this picture, you can see there is this little area. This area of the jungle that's been shown. And I always wondered, what if they make another DLC slash expansion for Vengeance? Because they've always said that this is gonna be the last patch, or the last campaign that they will add for Vengeance, but that was never the case. I mean, the Halloween was supposed to be the last one, then the China mini campaign was supposed to be the last, but then Primal Ravage came around, and then eventually we got the Hammerhead DLC. So it won't be a surprise to me if they decide to make another mini campaign that's oriented based on the jungle. It will be fitting since we've explored this area quite well in Frontiers. And in this video we're going to be speculating how would it look like what the levels are gonna look like, what is gonna be the new tower, hero, and what could the mini bosses slash enemies be, if there are even mini bosses. Again, this is purely speculation, so take everything that I'm about to say with a grain of salt. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's start. Hello, Rexy from the future here, and I want to make a quick correction on what I said, because I noticed this channel, Kingdom Rush Kali. So this guy is also another quite big Kingdom Rush YouTuber, and one of his more recent videos was how would the new DLC look like for Vengeance. Now this came out a couple of days ago and I didn't notice it, so I may or may not be unintentionally stealing from this guy. So just wanted to make sure that you guys see this video, so make sure to check out his channel. He posts some pretty interesting content and give him some love. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's go back to the regular scheduled program. So, enemies. Now, the enemies are quite an interesting concept up in here because we have a lot of options to pick from. Like, it's a literal jungle, so there's a lot of creatures that we can pick from. We can get, like, tigers, maybe leopards, who knows. Potentially, we can have flying enemies in the forms of parrots, and some of them could be, like, dropping bombs, similar to the parrots that are added in the Pirate Watchtower. That could be cool, you know, offensive aerial units. That's a kind of a cool concept. Another thing that is probably going to be added is Templars. I don't know why, I just feel like Templars belong in the jungle because you unlock the tower right after you enter this area. So it would make sense that they're still there as like guardians and protectors of this area. I don't know, I just feel like it will be fitting if we see the Templars as an enemy. Now for the mini bosses, I don't know. There's gonna be quite a few. We have like 3 champions to pick from. We got Bruxa, Cronan, and Satan. You may be thinking, why not Shatra? Since the Lost Jungle is a thing, so maybe Shatra will make a reappearance in this mini campaign, but I highly doubt it, because he's already been present as a mini boss, so it'll be kind of stupid if they just reuse him again. You know, it will seem kind of lazy. So I feel like there's gonna be these 3 champions. Now, I'm not sure who's gonna be the last boss. It's either gonna be Cronan, because, you know, he's the Beast Man. He's, you know, supposed to be one with nature. But at the same time, I feel like Satan would make up for a pretty solid last boss fight. Because think about it. He is pretty strong, he has some unique abilities. And imagine if he makes everyone on the screen take bonus damage, kind of like what he did in Frontiers. That would be very dope. So yeah, that's kind of my main idea. Now, will it be exactly like this? I don't know. But we'll find out. So yeah, that's all I have to say about enemies. Okay, now, what about the new hero? The hero is kinda pretty simple to make. Maybe it's just me, because again, if you didn't know, I used to make a lot of hero designs. I have like over 160 of them at this point for across all Kingdom Rush games. And yeah, if I have to make a hero, I think he's gonna be based on the savages. But not particularly like the big savages, like, you know, like for example the brood that carries this girl over there. Nah, we're not gonna be making him like this. Instead, I feel like he's gonna be more of a supportive character. Imagine Deirdre, but better. Like, I'm not sure how his stats are gonna be because I need to make a design for him, and unfortunately I don't have one at the moment. But I have to make him up on the spot. He's probably gonna be a squishy mage with a good range and slow mobility. His passive could be similar to the what would you call him? The Blood Trickster. So whenever an ally dies, he resurrects them as a zombie. Similar to how Svet's passive works, the only difference is that it affects ally units instead of enemies. That would be a nice little thing to have. He's probably gonna have like some sort of abilities that give a boost to armor and magic resistance. They're probably gonna be separated because giving both armor and magic resistance at the same time is kind of OP, so they're probably gonna be separate abilities. One of them could be like for healing, so he can provide extra healing or maybe boost your allies' regeneration of them, which is pretty cool idea because boost to regen has never been really a thing outside of the what would you call it? I think the Orc Warriors then has the passive regeneration, but it's not really a boost to their regen, it's just like a passive regen, so yeah. He's probably gonna have at least one offensive ability. I'm not sure what it's gonna be, maybe like a small AoE attack, maybe like an empowered basic attack. It could be like some sort of laser, I don't know. The list can be pretty long. Now, his ultimate is difficult to rank. Maybe it's gonna be like a global debuff to enemies. You know how Satan can make every enemy take 65% bonus damage for 5 seconds? Well, what if this guy does something similar? Maybe like nerf every single enemy by quite a bit, like reduce their resistances and damage, for example. You know, something supportive. I'm not sure about the bonus damage thing. I mean, we could make it work, maybe like 30%, 35%, because I want it to be somewhat balanced. So every enemy on the screen takes 35% bonus damage, and they lose part of their armor and magic resistance for a few seconds. But the cooldown has to be pretty high for it to be balanced, since, you know, affecting every single enemy on the screen has insane value. I mean, take for example Beerusat Ultimate or Ice Cold Ult. Both of them are incredibly OP, and they don't really have super high cooldowns, hence why they're kind of busted. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel like this new hero is gonna look like, at least for now. Okay, now lastly for the tower. Now the tower is kind of hard to figure out. On one hand, I want it to be the Snapvine, but at the same time, I feel like an alien-based tower will be pretty good. Because if you look at the Lost Jungle, we get these parasites. And imagine if we get a tower based on them. I think the way it's gonna work is similar to the Grim Cemetery, but different. Imagine it spawning a bunch of parasites on a timer, and those parasites can infect enemies, kill them, and they turn into Reapers. Now, how would that be balanced, you may ask? Well, first of all, I think if I was to make this tower, it would affect enemies that are only at a X amount of HP. So, for example, at tier 1, it's gonna affect enemies that are like up to 200 HP. Then at tier 2, it's gonna be like 250, maybe 300. So it will be increasing by like 50 or 100 HP, maybe even more, depending on how OP you want the tower to be. And at tier 4, it's gonna be a lot pretty strong. And I feel like the cooldown will be reduced as well, so it can start on like 20 seconds timer, maybe 25 even. And then as you level up the tower, it spawns those parasites more and more often. Now at tier 4 is the question, how is it gonna look like? What abilities should it have? And the answer to that is pretty simple. Remember the Reaper Queen? Or the Alien Queen, whatever she was called from the Endless mode? I feel like she is gonna be like the tier 4 towers. The tier 4 tower, I mean. Sorry. So, the abilities. I feel like one of the abilities is gonna be an AoE attack, where it just creates a zone that slows down enemies and poisons them. Maybe just a poison without the slow, but still, some sort of AoE attack. The other one could be like a boost to allies, like for example, boosting your allies' base damage, for example, by like 50%, something like that. Because I believe that's one of her abilities in the Endless mode. She boosts allies, but I believe she only can affect the Reapers and the Reaper Lords. And as far as I know, it gives bonus damage and bonus movement speed, but bonus movement speed to barrack units doesn't really make much of a difference, or at least it doesn't matter as much. So it's probably gonna be just a bonus damage thing. Or maybe she can have this bonus, but only to the parasites, but at the same time, the value will be very variable, since if you have, let's say, 10 parasites, it's gonna be way better than only having like 2. So, yeah, I don't know about this one, but that's the closest thing that I can think of. And as for the last ability, the tower could summon a unit, like a rallyable one, similar to the Shaolin Temple. Imagine how cool it will be to summon a Reaper Lord that just stays around there and beats the crap out of any enemy that comes near. That would be pretty dope. Now, he's probably gonna have any passives or hidden mechanics, but Imagine how cool it would be if he, upon that, he summons 3 parasites, so he can infect even more enemies. That would be amazing. I would love this tower idea. Now, will it be OP? Maybe, depending on how you make the stats. But at the same time, I feel like it will be kinda cool. Okay, I just thought about something. Maybe the Snapvine is gonna be a bonus tower. Like, on one specific level, it's gonna appear, or maybe multiple levels, and it will have some sort of timer. Now, I'm not sure if it's gonna function the same way as it did in Frontiers, but I feel like the Snapvine is more of a neutral enemy. Like, it's not okay, I don't know how to put it. Let's say neutral unit. So it doesn't really work for the good guys nor for the bad guys. It's kind of just there and it eats whatever it's near. So it could be kind of a cool idea to have it around. Like if you have it at a choke point, you can use it to eat a bunch of enemies, but at the same time you risk sacrificing some of your own units, including your hero. So it could be like an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe it could have like some sort of abilities that you can upgrade, or maybe it's just gonna be just there as a interactable. I don't know. But I feel like the Snapvine is definitely gonna be up there, for sure. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Now, as far as the campaign is concerned, I'm not sure from where it's gonna start. I assume it's gonna start probably somewhere around the village, like in this general area, and it's probably gonna go down all the way to the entrance of the jungle, because that's probably where the final boss is gonna be. Or maybe we're gonna take a completely different route, I don't know. We'll see. If Ironhide decides to ever make another DLC for Vengeance, it has to be in this area. If it isn't, then I'm gonna be very, very upset. But we'll see. Only time will tell if Vengeance will receive another big update. Now, if it's gonna be just an expansion or a DLC, we don't know. It depends. If it's a DLC, then it's probably gonna have a lot more content, but you have to pay for it, which for some people is not okay. For me, personally, I don't really care. Even if it costs like 50 bucks, I'm definitely getting it because I'm a big fan of Kingdom Rush, but some people may not be able to afford it, so yeah. Sucks to be them. Okay, that was a joke. So yeah, well, with that out of the way, I think that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you for sticking around to the end. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future. And while you're at it, drop a like on the video. It means a lot to me. And if you have any ideas for the new Kingdom Rush Vengeance DLC and how it's gonna look like, then leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your opinions. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully it's gonna be on the trailer for Kingdom Rush Alliance. And yeah, until then, that was King Rexy, over and out. See ya!